North Carolina State took a chance on Rollie Geiger back in 1979. At the time, Geiger was lacking coaching experience at the collegiate level, but had directed a successful prep program in Florida. That was enough for the Wolfpack to hire the Kent State grad. Success and Geiger went hand in hand from the beginning. Within 2 years of landing on campus, he led the NC State women's cross-country squad to back-to-back ACC and National AIAW team titles in 1979, while Julie Shea won individual national crowns in both years. Shea was the first woman to be named the ACC's All-Sport Athlete of the Year, doing so twice. She was a spotlight athlete for the league, as she also claimed 3 straight AIAW 5,000-meter titles on the track. Geiger's program dominated the 80s and the dawn of women's cross-country championships in NCAA's Division I. The Wolfpack placed in the national top 5 6 times in the meet's initial 7 years. In addition, Betty Jo Springs won the NCAA's individual crowns in 1981 and 1983, while Susie Tuffy did the same in 1985. By 1984, NC State handed Geiger the reins of its combined track and field program. Under Geiger's direction, 8 ACC team track and field championships have returned home to Raleigh, while nearly 200 have earned All-America honors and 4 have won NCAA event titles. His cross-country teams now have combined for 32 conference titles, 11 regional crowns, and 21 national top 10 finishes. Altogether, the Wolfpack have risen to the top of the ACC team podium 40 times during his tenure. In 2006, Geiger passed the torch of leading the women's cross-country team to Lori Hennis. Herself a longtime assistant coach with NC State, multi-time All-American Hennis won an NCAA title while coached by Geiger. As of 2019, her team has won 4 straight ACC crowns and 4 national top 10 finishes. On the domestic and international level, Geiger served as head coach for the U.S. national team for the 1987 World Cross Country Championships. It's only fitting that the leader of the pack is now in the USTFCCCA Coaches Hall of Fame. Please welcome Rollie Geiger to the class of 2019.
What's with the shoes?
I don't know.
Congrats here, Rollie. Stage is yours, my man.
So the first thing I read on my notes, make sure you can find a bathroom. That's what I got written down right here. There's a few I'd like to recognize that are not in the body of my 30-minute speech. Rusty Buchanan is here. He was my first GA. He's now first vice president of the AAU here in Florida. My sister-in-law is here, Terry, her husband, Steve. And Steve, thank you for not wearing a Michigan hat. I do appreciate that. He is a fanatic Michigan fan. I got a couple athletes back here, Kim and Trish. Thank you for being here. And my daughter's husband, Thomas, is at the table. Thank you for being here. We don't remember days, we remember moments. But first, I'd like to thank the USTFCCCA and the selection committee, CEO Sam Seams and his staff. I want to congratulate fellow inductees Karen, Bobby, Jack, Joe, and Dan. It seems like I've been following you, Joe, for a long time. You achieved nothing alone, so I need to recognize some folks that are here. First, my wife, 33 years that we've been together, and I would not be standing here tonight if it wasn't for you. Now, everybody in this room would probably agree to that, for sure. I was on a bus in Wisconsin. We had a cross-country meet up in Madison, and I was talking to the bus. I had a tendency to talk to bus drivers. Kind of like those guys. The bus driver had been married 61 years. Yeah, and he's driving a bus at 80 miles per hour, and I'm going, this is not a good thing. If you do the math on 61 years, it's 22,000 plus days. That's a long time. I'm not going to make that. That's a high bar. My daughter's here, Rachel. My son, Trey. I want to thank you two for being here tonight. What I really miss, both are NC State grads, by the way, what I really miss is our candlelight dinners as a family. We did that quite often. When anybody, if all four of us were home, it was a candlelight dinner. I miss that. Mom and Dad, blue collar. I grew up in Bedford, Ohio, suburb of Cleveland. Work ethic. Hard work is a prerequisite. My mom and dad worked hard. My mom worked 2 jobs. One of them was in the high school cafeteria, so we had lunch, my brother and I. My dad had a blue-collar job. So I learned early on the value of hard work. I'd like to thank 2 high school coaches. Nothing more important, in my opinion, than a high school coach. It all gets started with a high school coach. I had 2 that were outstanding, Jim Rose and Robert Stabile, incredible high school coaches. I want to thank Kent State University. I'm a graduate of Kent State. I had a recruit in my office, and he said, he was from Ohio. He said, "You graduated from Kent State." I said, "That's right." He said, "Can't read, can't write, don't remember last night." So I asked him where he was going to go to school next year. It wasn't going to be us. Part of the group of guys that were on the Kent State team at the time were Sammy Bear, Orrin Richburg, Al Schotterman. We had a group. And I can tell you that, I don't know if Orrin's here or not, but if you room with Orrin on a trip, I can guarantee you we're going to get any rest the night before the competition. I guarantee you that. Those of you who know Orrin know that's true. I want to thank the NC State coaching staff. They're all back here. And like you, Joe, we don't have assistant coaches. They're all head coaches. Every one of them is a head coach in their area. I really believe that. Hire a good coach and let them coach. Here tonight, Chris Coleman. Chris was a St. Aug grad, so George Williams is his mentor. Tom Wood is here, our throw coach. Fred Flintstone was his mentor. Now, your throw coach are different, man. All he does is get results, I can promise you that. Alan Johnson is here. Everyone knows, everybody in this room knows Alan. And also in the sprint area, we have Torrey Edwards Johnson. Chris Eaton in the distance events is here. Graduate spent some time in Virginia, West Virginia. No, Virginia Tech. Here we go. It's one of those Virginia schools. Spent time there, but then transferred to NC State. I'd like to recognize the last 2 is Bob Hennis. You fill in for us at times and the coaching staff. And last, Lori Hennis, who won her 4th consecutive ACC title this past year. The 4th. Congratulations to Lori. I do want to remind, very nice. I do want to remind Lori, though, the conference record for ACC titles by one coach on the women's side is 7. Just want to make sure Lori remembers that. It's interesting that, Lori won an ACC title when she was at school, and then her daughter won this past year. That's pretty cool. No one mentions, hardly a mention of Bob, the husband, the father. He won 3, and no one mentions the guy. I'd like to thank Game Operations. Jackie Brooks and Matt Chick are here. Jackie knows more about me than I do. True. And that staff, if you add up the number of years they've been on campus, it's over 100. They say once you're in, you don't get out. But it's over 100 years. Past staff who are present tonight, Curtis Fry, 2013 inductee. Curtis, love you, man. And we worked so well together. It was a lot of fun in those years you were on staff. Jason Vigilante is here, now at Princeton. Jason was the worst GA I ever had in my life. He didn't want to get the water. He didn't want to get a van. He didn't want to measure a course. He wanted to coach. And he's good at it. Chad Pearson is here from UNCG. Tim Brock. Jimmy Fallon. Did I say that? Jimmy Fallon? Anyway, Tim Brock is here from Providence. And Tim, you're learning a lot more from Ray Tracy. I have such great respect for Ray than you would at NC State. My friends from Adidas, I want to thank them. Todd Klein, Jennifer Thomas. NC State for being my home. NC State's my home. It has been for 40 years. It's my home. You know, in recruiting, eventually, you're going to end up in someone's living room. And I believe there's two things that you're going to talk about while you're there. A, your program, and two, the institution you're working for. Not hard for me. That's home. I love NC State. It's been good to my family. Both my children are graduates. Betty's in the Hall of Fame. So it's not hard for me to talk about NC State. I think their slogan right now is think and do the extraordinary. It's hard for me to say. From the department, senior associate with oversight on track and field is Fred Demarist. He has spent time, he's sitting right here. You have spent time at LSU, Texas A&M, and Florida as an administrator. He said to me tonight, we had a little social gathering. He said, finally, I'm part of a quality track and field program. I believe those three coaches will be looking for you after the ceremony here tonight. Yeah, good luck with that. And media relations, Maddie Smith, I appreciate you being here tonight. In 1979, Tom Jones, head coach at NC State, gave a high school coach an opportunity. That's what it was, an opportunity. Tom and his wife, Sandy, and if you know Sandy, you know what a bond they had. We're close friends. My first year at NC State, I had more dinners at his house than I did any place else. It's a good thing. My annual salary at that time was $3,000 a year, so I needed a meal. He left NC State in 1984 with stops at UTEP, Arizona State, and the University of Florida. Tom passed in 2007 after a long battle with cancer. He was inducted that same year into this Hall of Fame. Tom was an incredible coach, best coach I've ever been around, but he was a better man, and I miss Tom. I didn't know when Tom gave me this opportunity, I'd be standing here tonight. Who would? Coaching awards, in my opinion, are the result of the accomplishments of others. What a profession. Someone does really well, and we get the credit. Pretty good. So what I'm going to do here is for all the athletes who believed in the process and wore the uniform, I am not going to thank that group. I'm going to congratulate that group. Because in a moment, they're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Happy holidays, everybody.
Congratulations. Let's go over here and get a picture, Rollie. It's over here. All right, it's two pieces, remember. You got it.